Hello everyone, we are going through the answers for SA2 Revision Set 1, Booklet A. And before I go into the explanation to every single question, these are the answers for Booklet A. So please check through your papers if your teachers have not already gone through the answers. Mark your work or check your work so that you know which are the questions to focus on. So remember, you don't have to watch the entire video. Just focus on the questions that you got wrong. Alright? So let's dive in straight to the questions. Now let's look at question 1. The air that we breathe in is what than the air that we breathe out? So let's discuss some of the key points. Now, basically the air that we breathe, when we breathe, the concept here is our lungs produce carbon dioxide. Correct? Yeah, these are some of the concepts that we've learned. Okay, our lungs produce carbon dioxide, and so the air that we breathe in is has less carbon dioxide than the air that we breathe out. Okay, so that's why, because we produce the carbon dioxide, so when we breathe out more carbon dioxide. Okay. Now question 2. Diagram below shows us the tree found in the school field. So which of the following statements is or are correct about the diagram? So let's take a look. The tree has roots. So does a tree have roots? Yes, definitely. Tree must always have roots. The tree is a flowering plant. Is this tree a flowering plant? Yes. How do you know? Well, basically there are fruits. Okay, so the fruit comes from flowers. So the fact that this tree has fruits means it's a flowering plant. Is this fruit dispersed by wind? No, definitely. If you look here, it's much too heavy and it does not have a wing-like structure. Okay, so you don't need to know what this fruit is. Just know that there's no wing-like structure. And so because there's no wing-like structure, so definitely it's not dispersed by wind. So my answer is 2, A and B. Okay. Right. Let's look at question 3. Diagram below shows the first and second stages of a splitting of a cell in cell division. So at which stage will there be 16 cells? So if you look here, this stage I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the concept of splitting is that each cell will split into 2. So this will split, and this will split, and this will split. So this is stage 3. So at stage 3 we count there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So definitely some of you will be able to guess that at stage 4 it's where I will split into a further 2. Okay. So at stage 4, if you count, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So stage 4 is at the stage where there will be 16 cells. Question 4. Study the diagram of the flower. So which parts of the flower is involved in pollination? So the keyword here is pollination. So let's very quickly recap what pollination is. So pollination is the transfer of pollen grains from the anther to the stigma. Okay, so which parts are involved? So anther definitely is involved. So B is definitely involved. To the stigma, so pollination is the transfer of the anther to the stigma. So stigma is this part here. So A is involved. So A and B only. Okay. Question 5. Diagram below shows the life cycle of an animal. Which animal is likely to have the life cycle as shown below? So this is a 4-stage life cycle. Okay, there are 4 stages. So this is a 4-stage life cycle. So let's recall what are the animals that have 4-stage. Bat is 3-stage, so bat is wrong. Fish is 3-stage, so fish is wrong as well. Butterfly, yes, my butterfly is a 4-stage, so this may be my answer. Crocodile is 3 stages, so nope, my answer is butterfly. Question 6. Diagram below shows the reproductive system of plant and humans. Which part has the same function as part A of the human reproductive system? So part A is what part? Part A is my testis. So what is the function of testis? Testis is to produce what? Sperms. Okay, and sperm is my male reproductive cell. Okay, so sperm is my male reproductive cell. And so which part is similar? Yes, definitely. You should be able to identify that the anther is the one that produces the male reproductive cell. Question 7. Which of the following correctly describes the difference between plants and fungi? So take note, I want the difference between plants and fungi. Okay, so fungi, some examples are your mushroom. Alright, so this is an example of fungi, so just be careful. So plants, does it have flowers? Well, not all plants have flowers. Okay, because when they state it like that, between plants and flowers, they are actually implying all plants and fungi. So not all plants have flowers, and fungi, yes, they do not have flowers, but this is not true, okay, because not all plants have flowers. How about number 2? Reproduce by seeds, reproduce by spores. Now again, not all plants reproduce by seeds. Okay, so there are some plants that do not reproduce by seeds. Okay, because remember, plants is broken up into flowering, and I have my non-flowering plants. So things like my ferns, these are my non-flowering plants, and ferns do not reproduce by seeds, they reproduce by spores. Fungi, on the other hand, yes, they reproduce by spores, but because this is wrong, this is not a difference. How about plants? Can they photosynthesize? Yes, all plants can photosynthesize. Fungi, can they photosynthesize? No, they cannot. So this seems to be my answer. Let's take a look at the last one. Plants respond to changes. Yes, plants are living things, so living things can respond to changes. Fungi do not respond to change? No. Fungi, remember, it is also a living thing, so living things can respond to changes. Okay. Question 8. Diagram below shows a plant. So which of the following shows the correct path of the material in the food carrying and water carrying tubes? So if it goes up, what goes up? So the thing that goes up is my water, because it's taken in by the roots, and my mineral salts. So these are what goes up. What comes down from the leaves will basically be my food. Okay, so based on that, my answer will be option 4. Right, let's take a look at question 9. Group X, Group Y, study this. Classify according to, this is very straightforward. Respond to changes, all respond to changes. Make their own food, none of them make their own food. Move about on their own, all can move about on their own. So the only thing that is classified, that they're classified under is insects or mammals. Number 10. Okay, so this illustrates the human circulatory system. So which two arrows shows blood that carry oxygen-rich blood? Oh, sorry, vessels that carry oxygen-rich blood. So what's the concept here? So concept here, let me type it down. Please copy it down as well. Lungs takes in oxygen and gives off carbon dioxide. Basically, that's the role of my lungs. My lungs is to exchange gases. It takes in the oxygen and gives off the carbon dioxide that's produced by the body. So if blood that comes from the lungs, this will be oxygen-rich blood. So Q is definitely one of them. Then from my lungs, my heart, down to the rest of the body, this, because the oxygen has not been used up yet, so this is also oxygen-rich blood. So my answer is very nicely option 4. Okay. Now let's look at question 11. The flowchart below shows how X, Y, and Z are grouped. Okay, so study the flowcharts, read and understand it. So based on the flowchart, so again, you must base your answer on the flowchart and not nothing else. Which of the following correctly represents organs X, Y, and Z? Okay, so let's look at X, Y, and Z. X is from the female, X and Y is from female, Z is from male. X produces eggs. So which part of the female produces eggs? So yes, definitely the one that produces eggs or releases eggs is my ovary. So my womb is not, my vagina is not, my womb is not as well. So based on that, actually your answer is already 1. Okay, but let's just check to make sure we are correct. Let's move up a bit. Okay. So let's see. Y does not produce eggs, so is the womb part of the female? Yes. Does it produce eggs? Nope. Testis, Z is the male, does not produce eggs. Yes, testis does not produce eggs. So 1 is the correct answer. So this person wants to find out. Now always highlight what he wants to find out. If the number of leaves affect the amount of water taken in by the plants. So that is his hypothesis, what he's trying to find out. Whether if I have more leaves, will more water be taken up, or if less leaves, more water taken up. Less water taken up, sorry. So he intends to prepare the setup as shown in the diagram. So this is how he does it. These are the possible setups he can prepare. So which 2 setups should he use? So let's recall back again what is his purpose. His aim is to find out if the number of leaves. So remember, the aim of the experiment will always tell you what the variable that will be changed. So the variable that will be changed will be the number of leaves. So this variable here is the one that I want to change. So which means the other 2 variables, which is the type of plants and the amount of water, must be kept the same. Okay, so if you compare and you take a look at which 2 variables, which 2 setups, eventually you will find out that the setup that he should be using is B and D. Okay, right, he should be using B and D. Why? Let's look. B. So let's highlight B. B is rows. D is rows. So this is the same. 100 ml, 100 cm cube, 100 cm cube at first. 12 leaves, 5 leaves. So you see, this is the only 2 variable that has changed. The rest are kept the same. Okay, so that's how he can ensure that his test is a fair test. Right, question 13. Mr. Leong kept some plants in the greenhouse, measured the amount of oxygen inside the closed greenhouse over a period of time. So graph shows his findings. So amount of oxygen will increase over time, especially 12 noon to 6 p.m. it is at the highest. Towards like 12 midnight or in the morning it's lowest. Okay, so now this is amount of oxygen. Alright, so please take note, this is a time versus amount of oxygen graph. So here they're asking which of the following graphs shows the correct amount of carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide in the greenhouse in the same period of time. So what's the concept that we should recall here? So let's recall the concept. The concept is plants take in carbon dioxide and give off oxygen during photosynthesis. And remember, photosynthesis, what is the requirement? It requires light. Okay, so you need light for photosynthesis to occur. So if you see here, that's the reason why at 12 noon to 6 p.m. this is the highest, because this is where it has the most light. So this part here has the most amount of light. So because there's the most amount of light, it can make the most food. So while this is happening for oxygen, the opposite will be happening for carbon dioxide, because it will take in, when there's the most amount of light, means it will take in the most amount of carbon dioxide. So that's why your answer is very obviously 2. Right, question 14. So you're supposed to study the family tree. I'm just going to pull it out a bit more. So just remember, male is square, female is circle. So remember, male square, female circle. So based on the family tree, which of the following statement is or are correct? Li Ming has one uncle. So let's take a look. So this is Li Ming here. This will be definitely the father. And this is the mother. Okay, now if you see here, the mother has one sibling here because they come from the same parents. So this is a male, so which means this is the uncle. Okay, so this statement A is true. Li Ming has one uncle. Okay, good. How about B? Li Ming has 3 cousins. Okay, so let's find out. So cousins are your uncle's children. So definitely I got 1, 2, 3. So Li Ming has 3 cousins. So this is okay. So Li Ming has 3 cousins. How about F? F is Li Ming's grandmother. Okay, so let's see. F is this one here. Is this the grandmother? Now looking at the key, male is square. So this is actually the grandfather. Alright, not the grandmother. So C is obviously wrong. So my answer is A and B, which is option 3. Okay. Right, question 15. 2 solid balls made of different materials placed in a tank of water. What are they likely to be made of? So some S can float, T sinks to the bottom. So basically this concept is testing you on what materials can float and what materials cannot float. So let's see, iron, can it float? Nope. So remember, S is something that floats, T is something that sinks. Okay, so iron cannot float, cork can float, ceramic, no, wood, yes, most likely. Okay, so I'm left 1 and 3 is down already, so I'm left with 2 and 4. Let's see, steel, can it sink? Yes. Styrofoam, can it sink? No, styrofoam floats, so my answer is 2. Number 18, Keegan poured some water and then after a while he noticed it drips, and after that, it stops. How come? What happens? So basically the water dripped into the container. Now you notice that there's no space. The air cannot escape. So if air cannot escape, water cannot go in because air occupies space. So remember this concept here, air occupies space. Right? So this happens because air occupies space, and that's why the water can drip. So but why does it drip initially? Because the air is still inside, so why can the water go in? So you've learned another concept that air can be compressed. So that's why it can drip in. Right, let's look at 17. Very common question. 2 cups. 1 cup contain hot, 1 cup contain cold. And then after that, she sees this. So you're supposed to identify which cup contains cold, which cup contains hot. So what's the concept here? So just to recall the concept a little bit, the concept here is water, vapor. This is the concept of condensation. What happens during condensation? So basically water vapor touches the cooler surface of whatever and changes to water droplets. So that is the concept that we are looking at here. Okay, so if the water droplets can be all on the outside here, so that means that this part is cooler. So if this part here is cooler, so what does this make? This, let me use blue, this will be cold. Okay, cold. Okay, now here all my water droplets are on the inside, so that means that this part here is cooler and the inside is the water droplets are warmer. So that happens because this is hot water. Okay, so this is cold, that is hot. So my answer is 4. Cool. 18 shows the boiling and freezing point of 3 different types of substances. Okay, so notice whenever they ask these kind of questions, it is always good to draw a temperature line. But please bear in mind, okay, so I'm just going to draw this. At this stage, it's solid, and then after that, it's liquid, and then it's gas. So solid to liquid is your freezing or melting point. So what's my freezing or melting point? It's 18. So it's this part here. Okay, this part here. So this is the part where it changes from solid to liquid. And from liquid to gas, it changes because of boiling. So boiling point will be here. Okay, so let's take a look at the rest. This is 10. This is 98. This is my boiling point. The last one is 0, and this is 100 degrees. So, based on the table, which of the substance will be a liquid state at 90 degrees? So I want 90 degrees. So where's 90 on this line here? 90 is somewhere here. On the substance F, 90 is somewhere here, and 90 is somewhere here. So, which two will be a liquid at 90 degrees? Basically, it will be F and G. F and G. Can? Question 19. So this person poured 6 equal portions of tap water in 6 dishes, similar sizes. Dishes were placed in different locations at different length of time as shown in the table below. So the question is asking, I want to find out if the presence of wind affects the rate of evaporation. So presence of wind is the variable that I must change. So there are only 2 variables. One is location and length of time. And the dishes are all the same. Right, so the main difference is the location, and the location is the one that will affect the presence of wind. Okay, so different locations have more wind. So what the 2 setups or the 2 dishes that she should be using? Right, so your answer should be 2, which is C and D. Now I'll explain why. So if we look at C and D, location, one is next to a window, one is in a cupboard. So definitely the one in the cupboard has no wind, because you're in a cupboard. Okay, the one next to the window has wind. Now the key here is that both must be left the same number of days, so that it's a fair test. Because if you look at A and B, for example, A and B, one is in a cupboard, one is next to a window. So same thing like C and D, but if you look at the length of time, it's different. So it's not fair because evaporation will still occur, whether or not there's wind and all these things. So the one that is left longer, obviously more water will be evaporated. So it's not fair. Okay, so fair test means only the variable that is changing, or the variable that you're testing must change. The other variables must be kept the same. Now question 20. Town council of whatever town was concerned about fertilizers from farm being washed into the river beside them. Okay, so wanted to find out how much pollution was coming from farm Y. So take note, I want to find out how much pollution was coming from farm Y. So where's farm Y? Farm Y is this fella here. Okay, so which 2 locations should the water be collected for testing? So I want to test how much pollution. So where would I test? Okay, obviously a lot of you will start to think, okay, B is definitely it, because I want to test when it disposes pollution, then the pollutants will flow down, right? That I test here. But what is the other location? Should I test at C? No, because that will be affected by Z. If I test at D, it will be a combination of Z and Y. So I can't really tell whether is it from Z or from Y. Same thing from E. I have houses here. So houses will also contribute to pollution. So where else should I test? Yeah, I should be testing at A, because A is before pollution. Correct? So I can compare with A because B is after pollution. So my test is very obvious. If there's a lot more pollution at B, definitely it is contributed by the farm. and compared to A. If A I have no pollution, but B I have a lot of pollution, then obviously farm Y is the only culprit. Okay, so that's how you get your answer. Now, this is another common question. So I have a torch ball, I have a clear orange plastic sheet, and I have the white screen. So which of the following shows what he will observe on the white screen? So concept, again, let's recap our concept. This is on light. So what have we learned? So shadow is formed, when light is blocked. Okay, so that is the concept that we have been learning so far. So the ball is a round shadow, will produce a round shadow. The clear orange plastic sheet, if light shines through, the light will turn orange. Okay, so initially the light will be, so I'm just going to show you, light will be like white. Then once it passes through, it will turn like orange, something like that. Okay, because of the orange, clear orange plastic sheet, it will change the color of the light. So that's why your answer is 2, because your shadow is black, but the light will turn orange because of the clear orange plastic sheet. Now question 22, place a cup between two sheets as screens, as shown. Alright, and then she will shine from A and then shine from B, and what is the shadow? So basically if I shine from A, now the only key here is this little handle here. Okay, whether or not will the handle be seen. So if I shine from this direction, the handle is behind the cup, is being blocked. If I shine from this direction, the handle is in front and it's still being blocked by the cup. So either way, I shouldn't see my handle. Okay, so that's why your answer is 3, where the shadow of the shape of the shadow is the same no matter which direction, because the handle is in the middle. You can't see it. Alright, unlike this. Okay. Question 23, you're supposed to study the flow chart here. So what can object PQR be? Okay, so let's look at the list of objects. I have steel, I have gold, and I have a plastic ruler. So steel, gold, and plastic. So let's see. Object, is it magnetic? Yes, it's a magnetic material. So recall magnetic materials. I smell nice coffee, iron, steel, nickel, cobalt. So I've got steel. So obviously P is steel. Okay, move on. I'm left with gold and plastic. So gold and plastic are definitely not magnetic. Is it a good conductor of heat? So concept here, let's recall the concept. Again, metals are generally good conductor of heat. Okay, so Q will be gold and R will be plastic. Okay, so that's why your answer is 1. Question 24. Iron rod. Where's my cursor? Iron rod is this here. 1x, 1y. And it was using stroke method. And after that, you went to attract all the magnets like that. And you're supposed to tell me which is A is which pole and B which pole is B. So let's recall when you stroke, if this is north, then this will be south. Where's my cursor? South. So when you stroke down like that and you lift off, this part here will be north. Okay, so that's the concept here. Alright, because the light poles attract. So if this is north, this is south. So X is north, Y is south. So let's transfer it in. X is north, Y is south. Now because of that, A will be south because opposite poles attract. So let's write down concept. Okay, opposite poles of a magnet attracts. Okay. So if this is south, this will be north, and if it's north, this is south, then B will be north. So that's why A is south, B is north. Right, question 25. This person wants to find out which material allows magnetism to pass through. So that is his aim of the experiment. So remember, aim of the experiment will determine the variable that is changing. So which of the following variables should be kept the same? So aim of variable is which material allows magnetism to pass through. So this is the only one that I should not keep the same. This must change. Okay, so all other variables must be kept the same. Thickness, the distance between the sheet and the magnet, distance between the paper clip and the rectangular sheet. Everything else must be kept the same so that it is a fair test. So that's why your answer is 4. Question 26. So this person heated 4 containers of different materials. So let's highlight some of the keywords. Different materials at the same time for 5 minutes. She poured equal volume of tap water of 25 degrees Celsius into the 4 containers. She measured the temperature of each container after 1 minute. Okay, so recorded. Now here they use the word difference. So this may confuse some of you. So what does it mean by difference? Okay, so to explain this, let's take an example. We started off with 25 degrees. Everything starts off with 25 degrees Celsius. If let's say after 1 minute, the temperature becomes 20 degrees Celsius, what is the difference? The difference is 5 degrees Celsius. Okay, so that's what they mean by difference. Okay, so what does that tell us? So that tells us that the bigger difference, so what does that mean? Bigger difference will mean a greater drop in temperature. Correct? Because the bigger my difference is, let's say I take another example, 25 degrees Celsius. At the end it's only 5 degrees Celsius, so my difference is 20 degrees Celsius. So the bigger the difference, the bigger the drop. So that's something you need to understand. So based on the table, which of the 4 conditions will keep tea hot for the longest time? So I want to keep tea hot for the longest time. So that means my heat must be trapped in. It cannot flow out. So what materials will trap heat in? So something that traps heat in is poor conductors. Correct? So a poor conductor will trap heat in, and so which means that the difference of the temperature should be the smallest, because before and after I want my temperature to be as close as possible so that my tea will be as hot as possible. So I'm actually looking at something like this, a very small difference compared to this. Okay, so that's how your answer is 2. Okay, 3 more questions to go. 27. Jasmine set up an experiment and shown this glass rod, this metal rod, and then she has waxed with pins. Okay, heated the rods as shown below. Which of the following shows the correct order in which the pin would drop from the rods? So a few things to take note. My glass rod is a poor conductor. My metal rod, on the other hand, is a good conductor. Okay, alright, because metals are good conductors, glass is poor conductor. So that means heat will travel a lot faster down here as compared to here. This is going to be much slower. So which will drop first? Definitely K will be the first to drop, followed by L, and very much later J will be the one to drop, and that's why your answer is number 3. Question 28. Which of the bulbs will light up when the switch is closed? Okay, now this is a plastic ruler. Plastic is an electrical insulator. So recall, electrical insulator. So that means electricity cannot pass through. So no matter what happens, B will never light up. Okay? Now let's look at silver and iron. They are electrical conductors, so electricity can pass through. So let's see, once I close this switch, electricity will start to flow out. It will go up, go through the switch, come down, through this, and back again. Because there's a junction here, it will actually split up and join back in again. So what will light up? A will light up, D will light up, and C will light up. Okay, so that's why your answer is 3. Right, question 29. Which diagram will the bulb light up? So let's take a look. How about, will A light up? Yes, A will light up because this here is connected. Right, so recall, the connection must be at the casing, at the tip and the casing of the bulb. Okay, so this one will light up. How about B? Will B light up? That it touches the casing out the, touch the tip out the casing and back into the other end of the battery. So this will actually light up as well, because this part here is metal. Okay, this part here is metal. So it's a conductor. C, yep, definitely. Tip, casing. D, no, because there's nothing at the tip, at the casing. It's all connected at the tip. So D cannot. Alright, so it's A, B, and C. Alright, question 30. So this person had 3 bars, okay, X, Y, and Z of unknown materials. To find out if the bar conducted electricity, he put them at various positions, S1, S2, S3. So you want to find out if they conducted electricity, because some may not. Okay, so he did this and he put a tick if the bulb lights up. So if, let's say so he put X at S1, so this is X, Y at S2, and Z at S3. So what he observed is B2 lights up, B3 lights up. Now, so this is very obvious that B1 does not light up because Z is an electrical insulator. Alright, so electricity cannot pass through. Y and X and Y must be conductors, because so that my electricity can flow down and back again. So that's why these two will light up. Okay, so please take note. So we have figured out that Z is the electrical insulator. So here now we are supposed to find out which is the correct result if bar X and Y are placed in different positions. So the key focus will actually be on Z. Okay, so I'm going to highlight, I'm going to single out Z, because Z will tell us which bulb will light up. So let's look at option 1. If Z is at S2, okay, so if Z is at S2, so I'm going to use a different color. If Z is here, will B2, B3 light up? No, B2, B3 will not light up. The only one that will light up is B1. But if you look at this, this is wrong. So that's why option 1 is not your answer. Let's look at option 2. Z is at S1. So if I put Z at S1, what will happen? If this is an insulator, electrical insulator, actually all the bulbs will not light up because there's an open circuit right here near the battery. So there's no way for the electric currents to run. So option 2, I cannot even have one bulb light up. So nope, this is wrong. Let's look at option 3. Z is at S3, which is here, which is the same as this part here. Okay, so it doesn't matter the positions of Y and X because they are both conductors. So each option 3 should look something like this here, but it's not. B1 lights up. So obviously this is wrong. So I'm left with actually my answer. So let's confirm whether this is the correct answer. S2, Z. So Z is at S2, like what we said. B2, B3 should not light up. Only B1 lights up because at S3, X is, or doesn't matter whether X or Y, both are conductors. So only the electricity can flow like that. Okay. So this is correct because only B1 can light up. Okay. Have fun.